Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Crown and today we are going to have some more stories that I hope that you will enjoy. But before we start, it will be so much appreciated if you would subscribe to the channel, like the video if you enjoyed it, and maybe leave a comment down below. These simple clicks would mean a lot to the future of this channel and really reward the effort that I put in every day. And now, without further ado, let's go! First story. Veteran high school coach gets screwed over by school district and exacts sweet revenge. My father told me this story at my granddad's wake. Some backstory about my granddad. He grew up in Depression-era Virginia and slaved away in the coal mines in order to make ends meet. His only out was to join the Marine Corps. So he did. He fought in Korea and left the Corps soon after the war ended. He then somehow managed to get a job as a high school football coach in a county in southwest Virginia despite no prior experience. This was fortuitous, since he happened to have a knack for it. He went on to coach for 35 years at the same school, racking up hundreds of games and a good win-to-loss ratio, while burning through wives and making a pretty penny as well. His career was going pretty good until they merged the school he was coaching at with one from a neighboring town. Due to the merger, there was only room for one head coach at this new super school, and the choice was between my granddad, who had 35 years of experience and by now almost 1,000 games to his name, and a guy with a poor win-to-loss record and only 150 games to his credit. And obviously the school board chose the inexperienced guy. My granddad complained to the school district about this terrible decision, and in response they relieved him of all the coaching duties and shoved him into teaching an 8th grade health science class. Now bear in mind they did this to a man who had fought communists in Korea, had 3 teeth drilled out without anesthesia, and always managed to charm the cops into leaving him alone. And he had survived working in coal mines in the 1940s. By now the man had no craps to give. My dad at the time was a starting quarterback for the school's football team, so he witnessed the ensuing battle firsthand. My granddad decided that he didn't want to teach 8th grade health science and decided to make the school board suffer. The man never got sick and never took a day off in his entire career, so he had quite a few leave days saved up. He decided to take them all at once. For the entire first semester, he only showed up to class on Mondays. The district brought suit against him because when the case went up in front of a judge, he looked at what they had done to provoke my granddad and promptly told him to get lost. So for the next year and a half, my granddad only taught his classes once a week and cost the school board tens of thousands of dollars in substitute teacher fees, all the while talking his way out of trouble in his newfound free time. In addition to getting full sick pay, he nearly single-handedly bankrupted the entire district for pissing him off. Finally, halfway through the next school year, the district offered him his old job back. He politely declined, tendered his resignation, and almost immediately got snatched up by a district in the next county over. 0 craps given. I miss this man. Next story. AT&T tries to screw me over $139. I actually screwed them out of $72,000. After my wife and I got married last year, we decided that we should both get on the same phone plan. We went down to the AT&T store and met with a rep who told us we both be on an unlimited plan for $70 a month, all in, including taxes and fees. I was very specific about getting the all-in price for the service. It seemed like a decent deal, so we signed up. 2 days later, I log into the website and see that there is already a bill for $139. I called a rep to see what's up and they told me that Between the activation fees, taxes, and surcharges, the bill was correct. I told them what the salesperson told me, and they basically told me to bounce and I promptly told him that I wanted to cancel the service and wanted the $139 waived. They said they could cancel the service but could not and would not waive the bill. They also told me if I canceled immediately, my wife and I would lose our phone numbers, which is true. So I figured since I already have to pay for the months, and I don't want to lose my phone number, I will just get a new carrier and cancel when I'm ready. So I do my research and find Visible, which is excellent, and we make the switch. I called back AT&T and informed them that we have switched carriers and want to cancel the service. I again ask for a refund. The rep informs me that since I have had the service for 4 days, that I'm not entitled to a refund. He tells me to read the fine print on the contract, which indeed tells me that I have 3 days to cancel for a full refund. I am now fuming because the first CSR that I talked to on day 2 denied me a refund if I cancelled. I asked for the next level of CSR and they send me to a customer care and retention person. I explained the entire fiasco to him and how I feel that I have now been lied to twice by AT&T reps, sales rep and the first CSR, and he is a really cool guy, and apologizes and says that he will take care of it and will completely waive the bill. I'm very thankful and hang up thinking that this is finally resolved. Fast forward the months and I get an AT&T bill in the mail saying my payment was not received and this is now late. I again picked up the phone and called AT&T. I eventually make my way through 2 CSR reps until I get back to the customer care and retention department. This time I did not have the chill dude. Instead, I got a very smarmy woman who said that the bill was due and I'd owe the entire amount. I asked her to please check the CSR notes and that the last guy told me he would waive the amount. She put me on a 10-minute silent hold and came back and said she'd escalate the matter to her supervisor. She said I should receive an email by the end of the week with a resolution. 2 weeks go by and no response. I called again, and this time I got a very nice lady that is sympathetic. At first she says she will waive the bill, but then she comes back and tells me that she can't do anything because the bill has already been sent to collections. She said not to worry and that she will send a letter to collections to have them waive the debt. I ask if this will go on my credit report, and she says no, and that she will take care of it. 6 months later, I got a letter in the mail from Sequem Asset Solutions out of Georgia trying to collect on the $139. I immediately sent them a letter via certified mail demanding that they verify the debt, since it is obviously bad. I hear nothing for 2 months and then I get an alert that I have a negative mark on my credit. I go in and sure enough Sequem has indicated that the amount is in collections. I immediately wrote letters to all 3 bureaus requesting that they remove the mark. A month goes by and every single one of the bureaus removes the mark thankfully. Another 3 months go by and then I get a letter from Sunrise Credit Services in NY, again trying to collect on the debt. This is truly unbelievable, because it appears that Sequem couldn't verify it, so instead of apologizing and waiving the debt, they just sold it off to another collection agency. I sent another certified letter to Sunrise demanding verification. I get nothing in reply, and so far they have not attempted to put a mark on my credit. And that's where this part of the story ends. Who knows what will happen next? I could file a lawsuit, but the filing fee alone would be more than the amount owed. Here is the thing. I'm not cash strapped. I'm pleased enough that I could easily pay the $139 without making a dent in my budget. I have lost 5 times that amount in hours spent on the phone and writing letters. But I'm determined to go to the mat with AT&T on principle alone. This brings us to the revenge stage. You see, in addition to my day job as attorney, I am an elected city councilman in my town. And when I was going over our monthly expenses, I noticed that we were paying AT&T close to $6,000 a month for our phones, internet, and TV services. We're a fairly small town, so it was pretty obvious that we were being bent over by these clowns, and that we could save a ton of money by switching. I started working with our city manager and IT director on finding other solutions. We discovered that by switching to various carriers and providers, that we could save half. I never would have looked that closely into our telecom expense had AT&T not jerked me around. 2 weeks ago, the resolution to switch was put on our meeting agenda and the council voted to pass it. We decided to completely cut ties with AT&T. Our city is saving a ton of money, getting a better service, and with the money we saved from switching, we were able to hire another part-time animal shelter employee, which was desperately needed. I highly doubt our city would have considered switching if I didn't make such a stink about it. AT&T will end up losing hundreds of thousands of dollars over the coming years because of this. I hope it was worth it, AT&T. Ultra late hidden edit. We just went into budget session, and it turns out we actually saved $108,000 per year. Huh. Next story. Thieving dog screwed me out of $4,000. I got it back and cost the dogs another $700,000. A few months ago, a company, Low Dogs LLC, was required to sell some pretty rare stuff. Low Dogs was very cozy with another company, Morality Ltd, that wanted that stuff. But the industry we're in is highly regulated, and so Low Dogs couldn't just sell straight to Morality. So, to be seen to comply with the regulations, Low Dogs offered to sell the stuff to some other people, me being one. They said that if we wanted the stuff, it was ours, and if we didn't, well then, they would sell it to Morality Ltd. In that way, they would comply with the regulations prohibiting direct sale to their buddies at Morality Ltd. So I got Low Dog's offer, and you know what? It's actually very well priced. I say thanks, here is my check, and await my stuff. Tick tock, no stuff. I call Low Dogs up and say, yo, where is that stuff I bought? And they say, oh, we sold it all to Morality for the same price we offered it to you. And here is your check back. And so I say, nah. And I sue them for a few grand, that being the profit I didn't make by reselling the stuff they didn't deliver. Now Low Dogs could have sorted me out pretty easily, settle my claim, move on. For reasons known only to them, they didn't. They chose a double dare option, engaged high-flying attorneys, and started fighting hard. Just over a few grand. Old fisting donkeys don't bend over when someone tries to screw him. So all that did was provide further encouragement. I spent several weeks and several $1,000s putting together a detailed dossier on everything that had happened, then sent it to Low Dogs and said, we can do this the easy way, sort this out, or the hard way. I'll provide this to the regulators. And they said you will never bother. Go away. Okay kids, whatever you think. So off it went to the regulator. I've really simplified the story above. It's actually a pretty complex situation. Hence the huge work involved in explaining everything to the regulator, which Low Dog thought I wouldn't trouble myself with. The regulator took a look at my dossier and came down on them hard. On my estimate, Low Dog spent maybe $100,000 on attorneys in fighting the regulator, only to lose the argument. The regulator forced Morality Ltd to give the stuff back to Low Dogs, who then had to give it to me and everyone else who'd placed orders but been denied at the original low price. The profit that Morality Ltd missed out on was something like $600,000. And as it happened, Morality Ltd had contrived the original scheme with Low Dogs, and they were planning to share the profits. Too bad. So sad. Amusing enough, but there is a kicker. Turns out the stock controller at Low Dogs, who was a jerk to me when I complained that I hadn't received my order, hadn't actually passed everything on to Morality. He'd kept some for himself and sold it for a neat profit of about $20,000. When the regulator was investigating what had happened, that fact came out, and Low Dogs weren't happy. They were so unhappy. In fact, that stock controller was promptly sacked from his $200,000 job. Unlucky. Next story. How to screw an antivirus company who is actually screwing you by spreading virus and malware. There used to be an antivirus company who gave big discounts on electronics over at Tiger Direct, Amazon, and so on. They sold it as a bundled item with hardware like memory, SSD, hard drive, and so on. I mean $70 mail-in rebate on a hard drive, so I could get a 1TB drive for $20. Seemed too good to be true, so I did some research. Turns out they are not antivirus. They are worse than a virus. They basically took over your computer. Pop-up ads on a taskbar, your homepage gets changed. They filter out ads from websites and insert their own ads. They install a root certificate on Windows, so now they can monitor your secure SSL/TLS connection to websites. I'm talking about monitoring your transaction with your bank. It was a nasty malware. And to top it all off, they enroll you in a subscription plan, $79 a year. They just hope you forget to cancel. So in a year they make up the discount they give you, and continue to charge every year. Amazon customers were complaining that canceling is almost impossible. And it is impossible to remove the program completely once you install it. The only option is to rebuild Windows from scratch. So I thought I'll get that program. Just won't install it. Wrong. Here is the process to get the rebate. You get the program on a CD. You install it on your computer. During the install, you have to give your credit card number, phone number, email, and physical address. So basically, they got you by the balls at that point. Then the program contacts their server, so they can verify you did install the program. Then they send you the rebate form to your email, which you print out and send to them. And they will mail you an Amex gift card. I know this because my poor friend did all of this. I spent hours rebuilding his laptop. So how to screw these people who are trying to screw you? Install a virtual machine software like VirtualBox. Create a virtual machine, which is a computer running inside your computer. They think they got access to your main computer and go hog wild doing whatever they do. They can't really tell. Meanwhile, your main computer remains unaffected. Use a virtual credit card feature of Citibank, Discover, or PayPal. Generate a virtual credit card number with a credit limit of $5. An expiry date of 2 months from now. Create an email just for this purpose. I own many domains, so it is easy for me, or just use Hotmail or something. Install the software on the virtual machine given the virtual credit card number, email, and a fake phone number. Pro tip: in the US, any number with 0 or 1 or 555 after the area code does not exist. Do the remaining steps. Once you get the gift card in mail, use it immediately. Then delete or roll back your virtual machine. And delete the email address. They were surprisingly prompt in sending the card. I got it within a week or two. And now sell the hard drive back on eBay or Amazon at the current price. There you go. Profit. A year later, when they realize they can't charge my credit card, ignore the letters they send you in the mail about how much they are worried about you and your computer, because their servers cannot contact your computer and they cannot contact you. I must have done this half a dozen times before they canceled the deal. You don't screw with me, I screw with you. And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching and see you next time.